Okay, so far so good. I'm going to go post our link on the website. Website is jollyrogerukulele.com. And then I tweet it too, so everybody knows we're here doing what we're doing, because everybody reads Twitter so carefully. We are on lesson 12 for the series. I don't remember exactly how many lessons there are. About a third of the way through, I guess. Let me hit link here, link, and enter, edit, settings, open a new window, update, and update. I'm 2 minutes late logging in. I like to log in right at the top of the hour, but I forget, or I get busy fussing with other stuff. Yesterday was a bit of a show, so I am trying to clean up the disaster that was yesterday. And I think I about got it wrangled here. So Monday, there was no class on Tuesday, and Wednesday we only had one class. So, yep. All right, so I got the video archive fixed, and then I've got our main page here up and running. Let me make sure that this links where I think it's going to. So we're on lesson 12. Oh, I didn't hit that part. I got to go back and fix that. Let me go fix the open a new window part. I wish it would just default to that. Don't you understand WordPress? We always wanted to open up in a different window unless we see. I got to go highlight, edit, settings, open a new window, update. Didn't I hit that before? Update and update. So now we should be opening in a clean window. Well, Alan spends so much time doing this. It's incredible. All right, so there's that. All right, and I should be able to view page, click on it, and I will open up in a fresh window. And click. And there I am. Okay, so now we got that part fixed. Now we got to go tweet. https://jolly Roger ukulele.com. As those of you guys that are logging in, make sure to tell me where you're from and what the weather's like there. Not because you have to, but because it's funny. All right, I'm going to tweet there. I've tweeted Tufuk. All right, tweeting is complete. All right, let's see. Oh, this world we're living in. All right, funny. Funny. There's all kinds of funnies on Twitter. All right, so web page is up. Today we are working on arpeggio planning, and so this is actually the last mean lesson we have to go through in this series, and then everything else builds upon all of the toolboxes that we've begun. So let's see who we've got logged in. Well, we got a good group already in today. And I'm going to need some sheet music. I don't have this one memorized, which is key. Where is, let's see, what do I call this one? Key of C? What do we call it? Oh, I think I call it JFA. JFA. There's F. Where's C major? I know what we'll do. It's over here. It's this one. Ukulele. Patience. There we go. Here we go. All right. I think we're all set now. Let's see how everybody's logging in. Beautiful. Who's here today? Dennis is in from Toronto. Good to see you, Dennis. And Elizabeth is in from Bozeman. Good to see you. A little cloudy up there today. Linda, sorry I missed you yesterday. Linda's in from Colorado Springs. Missed you guys too yesterday. I'll tell you the whole story in just a minute. I'll tell you how one thing led to another, led to another. Bruce is in from sunny Virginia today. Good, good. Yeah, apologize for missing yesterday. We noticed yesterday, Bruce, it was pretty chilly in your part of the neighborhood. Bernie Sanders is very famous for his coat as of today. So it must have been pretty cold out there yesterday. Donna's in from Lakewood, gray and cloudy. Is it gray and cloudy out there? Oh, it is gray and cloudy out there. Ugh, I don't like that. Linda, let's see, Colorado, sunny and nice outside. Okay, good. It's sunny in Colorado Springs. The weather's coming in from the north, and so we're going to have apparently an iffy weekend around here. Dave in from Michigan, sunny for a change. Won't last long. Look at that fatalism that Dave's got. Like, it's nice now, but it ain't gonna last. All right. Mary's in from Golden. Good to see you, Mary. Lynn is in from New Jersey. No Brahms lullaby today. We did more Brahms last week, Lynn. Well, and we can add it on to our. We only have a couple of songs for this week for tomorrow, so we may add that back in. That's a good idea. Jim, Fort McMurray, it's 16 degrees. Burr. He says cool. Jim, that's almost an emergency. I don't know if you know that or not, but 16 degrees is beyond cool. Jim's a tough guy. Lynn, Amazing Grace. We're gonna move Amazing Grace. Yeah, you misspelled Brahms Lullaby as Amazing Grace. Yeah, Amazing Grace. I'll move it to tomorrow. Connie is in today. Amazing Grace has fundamentally the same skill set as we've been working on other things, and so we'll take a quick stock of it tomorrow, and then the lesson that comes with that is try to calm down. That's the lesson with Amazing Grace. Bernie is famous for his mittens. I don't know how many of those memes you saw that people had him. They took that picture of him sitting on that chair and put it in with all this other stuff. So funny. So many funny things. Super cute, right? Don't forget Bernie's mittens. Oh my gosh. It was so funny seeing some of those things roll through. Gonna rain up down there in Texarkana. All right, good. That's normal though down in your section of Texas. The part of Texas I'm familiar with, it hasn't rained there in 20 years. All right, so guys, today, yesterday, the one thing I have learned in life is that when my wife says something like, "Sure would be nice to have something this," and then I know immediately I probably better get on that right away. And so yesterday she says, "Sure would like to have this thing," and I'm going to phone it in. Do you have time after your harmonica class, but before your ukulele class to go pick this up? And I'm like, yes, which the right answer was no, but I said yes, and she says, okay, I'll phone it in. So she calls it in, and it's in walking distance of the house. So I think, all right, I'll end harmonica class a little early. I will run down there, get that, and then I will run back, and then I will be in time for this. So I run down there, and I say, and then so I run down there after class, quit harmonica early, short those guys a little bit, run down there, get there. They say, we don't have it. She didn't call it in here. I'm like, what the heck? So it turns out that she's called it in to 33rd and Tejon, which is, if you look on a map, it's just like right here, but it's about a 20-minute drive from where I am and back. So I run home. I'm like, oh, brother, I don't think I'm going to make. I think if everything goes perfectly, I may show up just in time to do some ukulele. But then I realize as I'm running back to the house, I don't have my keys. So that means I got to go all the way back into the house, the whole thing. And so I just posted for you guys. I said, I think I might make it. And then after a very short amount of time, I realized I wasn't going to make it. So I ran all the way across town. I get all the way there and they're like, no, we don't have it either. And so anyway, it was just running all over town for no reason whatsoever. We did end up getting what we needed to get, but it was it was a lot of waste of time. And those of you who are husbands know what's going on there. All right. Just trying to make her happy, right? Just trying to get her what she needs to get through the day. So today we're going to work on the key of C major arpeggio. This is hard stuff, guys, and so it's one of the things that I want to get started on early, and then we will talk about how you end up using arpeggios when you are playing instrumental music to make your music sound fancier and better and more beautiful. We also will talk about using arpeggios when you're singing, if you sing, to make yourself sound so much more sophisticated as a musician than the way most of the time ukulele gets taught. Most of the time it gets taught in kind of this, well, let's strum the chords, and there's so much more things you can do with the chord than just chunk, chunk, chunk. And so we're gonna begin to explore that in a lot more detail today. And then tomorrow we'll play the couple of songs from the week. We'll really continue to stay focused in on this one sheet of paper, and then also we're going to tackle Amazing Grace tomorrow. That way we don't fall too far behind in the regular programming. It's not like there's a deadline or anything, but I just kind of like to keep throwing a new piece of music in front of you all of the time. And tomorrow will be a little bit, it'll be a little tight because of that. Let's see who else wandered in here. Piney Woods, okay. And then Nancy says 74 and sunny. Nancy's going to tell us the same exact thing every single day this winter. It's always 74 and sunny in Florida. All right. Right now, let's look at the ukulele sheet music, not the baritone one. If you've got a baritone in your lap, that's perfectly fine. Let's look at the ukulele side of things first, so that the skill set's the same for both groups. But obviously, you're going to take those chord shapes we've already talked about in some of the other classes, and then we will divide those into. But first, I want to just talk about the skill set that we're going to be working on. And we're looking at the ukulele paper. Okay. Even if you got a baritone, most of you have ukuleles. A couple of you got baritones. One, we have our chords. Whatever the chord shape is over here, it's a chord shape. Okay, so for right now, ukuleles put on your C chord, baritones put on your C chord. Okay, now when we've talked about this already, but just to make sure we're all clear, this is the chord. Okay, the chord is a neighborhood in which the melody is going to live into. So if I strum this, three blind mice, see how they run, they all went after the farmer's wife, right? And so you're just creating a neighborhood where your melody lives. And since I'm out of tune, that neighborhood is a weird neighborhood. Now I'm in tune. Three blind mice, see how they run, So the chord is a neighborhood that your melody is going to live in. And so if you will grab your C chord, ukulele players, and if baritone players, you'll grab your C chord. We could do, and then give me this chord. Okay? That's the way most of us get taught. Okay, and then when you go to the neighborhood ukulele jam, there's some guy there, usually white, right? Usually old, usually bald, looks a little like me. He's going to teach you this, right? Take this finger, go down, and come back up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and don't make sure the face of your fingernail isn't pointing here. Make sure it's actually pointed more toward the ground. Okay, so if I'm showing you here. I'm not straight up and down. I'm not like this. Some people who struggle with this, that's a method I use to help them understand that, right? Straight up and down. But more, you're really kind of at a 45, 50, 60 degree angle here. Okay, and that way your fingernail doesn't get caught inside the strings. Okay, so down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And so we just do the same song. First we were doing three blind mice, and then we're going to switch to this. Three blind mice, and then that same guy is going to teach you about down, down, up, down, up, 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 down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Now, I don't teach that because it's stupid. And what I don't want you to get into this notion that certain songs have certain strum patterns. It is ridiculous. There's actually a book out there that is going around in a lot of the elementary schools with the Hawaiian strum pattern. Like as if in Hawaii there was a day when everybody called each other and said, "Hey, the haoles on the mainland need to have a strum pattern, and we want to call it the Hawaiian strum pattern. What do you guys think?" And all the Hawaiians are like, "Okay, let's do down, down, up, down, up. That'll be the Hawaiian strum pattern." That has never happened. That phone call never happened, and yet here everybody around the mainland thinks that's the thing. Down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up. Go back down. Up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. And I see this going around all the time. That's just a strum pattern. It isn't the Hawaiian strum pattern. It isn't the correct way to strum anything. It's just a pattern. And so when you meet that guy who's going to talk to you about strum patterns, he thinks he's being helpful, and he might be, but probably he's just giving you information that is going to confuse you. That's a thing. There's only downs and there's only ups. Okay, when you're strumming in this particular style, and you can put them in any pattern you want. Down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, or down. Like for me, I'm like down 2, 3, 4, down 2, 3, 4. Or you'll hear about the reggae one, which is down, rest, up, down. It's heavy on 2. I don't remember. Doesn't matter. What matters is you as a soloist hanging out at your house, you can strum your ukulele any way that makes you happy. You have a way inside of your heart that's going to be your main way of strumming, and that way is perfectly fine. Just make sure you have the correct number of beats in the measure, and you can do whatever you want within that strumming idea. So that's another way to take your chord and turn it into something down and up, and combinations of downs and ups. I sat through an entire 45-minute lesson from Aldrin Guerrero one time talking about strum patterns. I sat there at the end, I was like, so it's down and it's up. And you mix those up, right? That he could have said that. You could say, hey guys, this is down, this is up. You can mix them up any way you want to. Just make sure you have 4 beats in a measure and it'll come out great. All right, let's go to lunch. Another way to play arpeggio, or another way to play your chord, is to get kind of sophisticated. These 4 fingers, and let's see if I can get the lighting decent. Thumb on top of this string, index underneath the 3rd string, middle finger underneath the 2nd string, and ring finger underneath the 1st string. Okay, so you've got, everybody has this thing. There's no string that has 2 fingers on it. Okay, and you're not using your pinky at all. It's just hanging out, kind of tucked away here in a nice, pretty position. Okay. Okay, so this is this. Okay, and this is the most important thing I can teach in terms of your future as an instrumentalist, is getting really comfortable with doing this. Now, when I'm doing this, I am not moving my elbow, right? Nothing's going on down there. There's a tiny bit of motion going on my wrist. I'm just getting my hand up out of the way so the sound can ring out. And most of the activity is going on in my knuckles. Okay, and even there is not that much, right? So you see what's going on there. My right arm is just being really calm, peaceful, and cool, and I'm creating this 1, 2, 3, 4 effect here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, and if it happened to be a song in 3, it'd be 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So nothing changes on my right hand. Nothing changes on my left hand. The only thing that's going on over here is I just got to make this fit the beats of the song. Connection problems here now. Hey, Janice. I saw the thing go along. I'm like, oh, I got to look around my sheet music. I got my sheet music piled up right here, so I can't see the How about this? What if I put this over on this side, and then I can see you guys chatting? Nice. Okay. Then change. That's not in your way, is it? It's not. Okay, good. So there's that. Now, baritones, same thing for you, right? You just happen to be holding a different shape, and you're getting the same C chord out. Okay. Now, here we go. Okay. This is how you're mostly going to play when you're plucking melody out and adding in some beautiful chords underneath it. This is how you're going to play when you're at your strum along and you want to sound fun and sound like everybody else. This is how you develop the skill that we have to learn now, and that is thumb, index, middle, ring. Now remember first week, the Making Better bar worksheet, that's what we were working on. Thumb, index, middle, ring. Thumb, index, middle, ring. Thumb, index, middle, ring. Thumb, index, middle, ring. On the paper, I gave you the classical guitar fingering, which is P-I-M-A. P-I-M-A. Pulgar, indice, medio, annular. Pulgar, indice, medio, annular. I think I'm pronouncing those right. I might not be. Okay, so P-I-M-A. Now, when I put my chord on, baritone, stick with your C chord. Ukulele players, your C chord. Thumb, index, middle, ring. Thumb, index, middle, ring. Thumb, index, middle, ring. Baritone sounding a little different. It's going bong, 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 bong. Because they have a low string on their top, and if you have a ukulele with high G on it, it's going bing, bong, 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 bing, bong, 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 thumb, index, middle, ring, thumb, index, middle, ring. This is an arpeggio. It's still a C chord, but we've broken it up into the strings that make up a C chord. And what you're playing is a G chord on, a G note on the top. Your index finger is playing a C note. Your ring finger is playing an E note, and your ring finger is playing another C note. And for baritone players, it's a little different. Okay, they call it inversions. If you ever have a local music school and they give ukulele lessons, they have a class called inversions on the ukulele, and what that class should really be called is bar chords. they say inversions because you think you're about to be led into this secret world of fancy music playing that nobody's told you about. Okay, but inversions are really bar chords on a ukulele. Okay, and we're doing this a lot so your hands can just kind of get used to this idea. Thumb, index, middle, ring. Thumb, index, middle, ring. Now let's go back in and mess it up just a little bit. Let's go ring, middle, index, thumb. Ring, middle, index, thumb. And when you're first starting, this is the hard one, right? It's like, oh no, the other one was so nice. Why do we have to do this one? 2, 3, 4. Ring, ring, middle, index, thumb. I had it right. Ring, middle, index, thumb. And then when we're in class and I walk around until everybody's basically doing it pretty well, and then I speed it up a little bit. I look around and see who's getting blown out, and there's always somebody getting blown out. Okay, and I go work with that person while everybody's doing this, and then I get them going, and I come back and I look and see everybody, and then I speed it up a little bit. And then I go around the room and see who's getting blown out. Ring, middle, index, thumb, 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 ring, middle, index, thumb. Isn't that pleasant? So when I first started ukulele, I was coming out of piano. This is a very normal thing you do in piano is to make arpeggio patterns. So I wanted to make them on ukulele. There were no books about it, so I had to write a book about it. And I found out that if you're sitting on the couch and you have the television on, you can do this rather quietly all night long. And then now that you've got your hands trained to go that way, now go back the other way. Thumb, index, middle, ring. See, now my fingers are fighting me because they're like, no, we were supposed to do it the other way. And you're trying to get them. Speed isn't necessarily your main goal, but smoothness is. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you could do that the whole evening. Your ring finger would get tired on your left hand, but your right hand would be very happy. You don't even need to put a chord on, right? And do the opposite. Now, before we get too far, there's lots of other patterns. There's an end limit. The number of patterns are only limited by your creativity. Let's do outsides and then insides. Outsides, insides. Outsides, insides. Outside, insides. Outside, inside. This would be another arpeggio pattern. Okay, keep your C chord on, by the way, because that way we all sound the same. That's another pattern. We could do odds and evens. So I do the evens, 2, 2, and 4, and then followed by odds. Okay, those are pretty fun to do. Those sound pretty. Another possible way to think about arpeggios is what if you did thumb and then all these three together? Or do the opposite, do your ring and then these three guys together. All these are arpeggios. What we're doing is taking the chord itself, dividing it up into the strings, and then doing something creative or something different with the arrangement that we have over here. You'll see lots of different choices on here. Now, last thing to talk about, don't be under the notion that you have to use all four strings. Okay, let's move this guy down. Let's put our thumb down here. The problem with assigning four fingers to four strings is guess what happens? Then your dumbest finger, your ring finger, ends up on the most important string here. Okay, sometimes it's unavoidable, but generally speaking, if we don't have to use our ring finger on that first string, if we could use our middle finger, we want to do it because this is a much smarter finger than your ring finger. And so you got thumb, index, middle, and let's just ignore this top string for a minute. Okay, so just ignore that. Just pretend you don't even own that top string. You got a three-string instrument. You got this here. Okay, C chord, and let's do 1, 2, 3, 4. Thumb, index, middle, index, thumb, index, middle, index, thumb, index, middle, index, thumb, index, middle. And then kind of go a little faster. Okay, so that's our pattern. Okay, it's thumb, index, middle, index. Notice you've only using three fingers, but we're creating a 4-beat pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you're playing in a 4/4 time signature, you're going to end up with thumb, index, middle, index. A lot of times, lots and lots of times. You could also end up with thumb, index, middle, ring, thumb, index, middle, ring, thumb, index, middle, ring. Or you could be doing 1, 2, 3, 4. You could be doing 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You could just be using two strings. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So all of these are possibilities. Okay. So now let's look at your sheet music. Okay, baritone players, now would be the time to pull up your baritone sheet if you've got a specific, if you are playing baritone, now I want you to switch to the baritone music. Ukulele players, you stay on the ukulele sheet music. And we're going to talk about, we're going to be playing in the same key together. It's just that ukulele shapes are going to be different than baritone shapes. And unfortunately, baritone players, because we're in the key of C, your road forward is a little tougher than the ukulele road. And I'll play this through both ways so that it's on both instruments so you can see, make sure you're doing what I want you to do. Okay. What the sheet music here says, look at measure 1, put your chord on, whatever your chord is. If you're baritone here, if you're ukulele, you're here. Okay. Now, your pattern, you could literally play this song with your thumb. The problem with that is your thumb is very accurate and beautiful, but it's also very slow. And so we want to be able to play this faster. And in order to do that, as soon as I look at this, I look at every single measure, like every single measure has a pattern to it. Okay. And for baritone players, you guys and ukulele players, it's going to be thumb and then index and then middle, index, just like we were talking. So let's just do measure 1 for a while. Thumb, index, middle, index, thumb, index, middle, index. Let's do it again. Go. Thumb, index, middle, index, thumb, index, middle, index. And baritones, let me just make sure that you guys are on the same page with me. How close am I? That doesn't sound very close. That one's good. There's the problem. I knew one of them was out. All right, close enough. So baritone players, you're holding this shape, okay? And yours says thumb, index, middle, index. Okay, but your notes are actually different that you're going to be playing than the ukulele notes. but you're going to be fine playing together because you're playing in the same key as them. And so you've got your sheet music where 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 1. Doesn't matter what the notes are. It matters in this case. What's going to matter is the pattern that you're playing. And so that's what you've got going on there. And I'm going to pull up the baritone music so that I can make sure I'm telling you the truth as we go along. And I'm sorry, I'm telling you the wrong thing. Baritone players, go back to the C major chord paper. Yeah, you pulled up the G major, and that's not what I want you to do. I put on the solo piece. Sorry, baritone players, you're going to be in the key of G, and I do apologize. I was thinking I posted the C music for you, but I didn't. I posted the G music for you. So baritone players, go back to the ukulele music. You're going to be our accompaniment. You're going to be strumming with us. Okay. Sorry. We'll go back through that in just a second. I blew it. All right. So baritone players, you are playing just the chords on the ukulele paper. So you're going to be playing a C chord. You're going to be playing a G chord. You're going to be playing an F chord. And then down further, you've got a G7 and you've got your A minor. Okay, so you're just going to be giving us probably one strum per measure. So your first measure is C 2 3 4, G 2 3 4, F 2 3 4, G 2 3 4. That's what I'd like you to play. That keeps it simple and beautiful. Helps anchor what we're doing on ukulele. And then in just a second, pay attention though to the instruction here because your instruction on your sheet is the same. Okay, so ukulele players, first measure, thumb, index, middle, index, thumb, index, middle. Measure 2, put your G chord on, okay, and make sure your index finger's on the 3rd string, and then you have the same pattern, thumb, index, middle, index, thumb, index, middle, index. And you're going to switch to an F chord, same pattern, thumb, index, middle, index, thumb, index, middle, index. Measure 4, same pattern, thumb, index, middle, index, thumb, index, middle, index. Measures 5 through 8 are almost identical to the first 4, so let's just play them. Ready, go. Thumb, index, middle, index, thumb. Change to your G chord now. Thumb, index, middle, index, thumb, index. Go to your F chord. Thumb, index, middle, index, thumb, index, middle, index, and then go to your G chord at measure 8. Thumb, index, middle, index, thumb. Now notice you're going to stop on this top note. Okay, don't turn your brain off and think just because you've always been gone back to your index finger that you have to. Then at measure 9, you see 0, 0, 3. Now, prior to this, we've just played everything with our thumb for the most part. But this doesn't have any thumb indication on here, so you're supposed to pluck it. 0, 0, 3. And then it says 0, 0, 3. So again, thumb, index, middle. Then an F chord. Put your F chord on. Put the full F chord on, even though you're not going to hit this top string. It's just teaching your hand to do the shape. Okay, put your full F chord on and then pluck all 3. Pluck. 0, 1, 0, thumb, index, middle, measure 11, you're going to have your G chord on, pluck, thumb, index, middle, 12, pluck, thumb, index, middle, and then measure 13, I'm going to put a C chord back on, pluck with those 3, pluck, and then middle, index, thumb. Notice your pattern has changed. It's now going down instead of up. Same thing at 14. Put your A minor shape on. Okay, baritones, you're putting this on, and again, just giving us a nice, beautiful strum so we can play some melody through that measure. Ready, go. Plunk, middle, index, thumb, F chord. Plunk, middle, index, thumb. Switch to your G7. Plunk, middle, index, thumb, and 2 C chords here, 2 plunks, plunk, plunk, thumb, index, A minor, plunk, plunk, thumb, index, F chord, plunk, plunk, thumb, index, index, and then a G chord, plunk, G7, I should say, plunk, plunk. At the bottom of the paper there, you see a repeat sign. Had two heavy bars or two bars with two dots. Those mean go all the way, go backward until you find a forward repeat or the top of the page. And in this case, you would play the top of the page. So tomorrow when we play this, we will play page 1 twice. Okay. And if I could give you a suggestion about how to make your ukulele career take off, would be to really get solid with this key of C major arpeggio, because it's got all of the last higher level pieces and parts in it that you're going to be using in all of the advanced music going forward. And there's no advanced music, the tougher music going forward. Let's talk very quickly about some things that are different on page 2. Page 2, you see 0003 with a little wiggly line along that. We call that a glissando. Okay, you're going to play that with your thumb, and you're going to go all the way down. Okay, and it also says written there, which means slow down a little bit, make it pretty. Okay, 3, and then you're going to play just some melody. 3, 5, 3. Then you're going to put a G chord on. Again, nice strum down. And then hit the 3. And then on F chord, you're going to hit just 3 strings. Remember your rest stroke. Make sure your thumb hangs out there. Then hit 1, 3, 0. Okay. And then a measure 24, a G7 with a big old glissando. That's worth 4 beats. 3, 4. Measure the 25, C chord. O, O, O. Use your index finger to get the 1. And then measure 26, put your G chord on. 3, strum 3 down. And then you got a 0, so just lift up your ring finger. And then 27, you have 2 F chords. And then you have a 3. And then a 0. And then you're going to have a G7 chord. 2, 3, 4. Measure 29. Notice the glissandos disappear. The little wigglies disappear. So now you're going to go back to your claw shape, and you're going to grab the bottom 3 strings, 0, 0, 3. And then ring, index, middle, and then A minor. Ring, index, middle, and then F chord. Okay, and then G7. 33 is 2 C chords. Thumb index. A minor. F chord. And G7. And then there's that little wiggly shows back up, full C chord. Okay. So what you're going to be having here, you don't know this song, right? I wrote this song, and so it's not a song you know, but all of the tools that are in this are going to become incredibly important as you move forward. What I want to do, I'm going to play the whole song. I'm going to ignore the repeat at the bottom of the page. I want to play the whole song on ukulele. Baritone players, you're just playing chords. C, and then G, and then F, and then G, and it's going to sound amazing at your house. I'm going to play through, guys, if those of you on ukulele, try to play with me, but I'm going to keep going no matter what happens. Okay, I'm going to play it kind of slow, but I'm going to play through it the whole way. Then I'm going to switch to baritone. I'm going to play their version of it, and ukulele players, you will then be on chords. It'll sound very interesting because your chords will actually be higher than the voicing on the baritone. Okay, from the top. And by the way, this is the hardest lesson in the entire intro to ukulele section. So if right now you're like, my brain is shutting down, Gary, I'm feeling like I should pick up the bagpipes, trust me, you're not alone in that. This is a very, very challenging piece of information. But after a week or so of this, and when I was talking about, plucking and arpeggiating and all that, it's going to come together. It will come together. It's just in the beginning, the first day you have to deal with this, you're like, I don't think I want to work with that guy anymore. So have faith. Okay, this is the good stuff you're getting right now. From the top, we're going to play the whole thing all the way top to bottom on ukulele, and then I'll switch over and play it on baritone. 1, 2, 3, 4. G chord is next. F chord is next. Go to the G chord. Back to a C chord. G chord, F chord, G chord, stop at the top, C chord, plum, thumb, index, ring, F chord, thumb, index, middle, G7, thumb, another G7, C chord, A minor, F chord, G7, C chords, thumb index, A minor, thumb index, F chord, G7, and then page 2. G7 at 24, 2, 3, 4. I know how to play this. 27. 2, 3, 4. Back to plucking. Ring, middle, index, thumb, A minor, middle, index, thumb, F chord, middle, index, thumb, and then G7. Glissando on the C. This ukulele sounding really pretty. Finally, the strings have finally settled in. The nice thing here is you're now combining plucking with some strumming to get that system in place, because you're going to use that a lot in more complicated music, and you're giving yourself a chance to learn how to play thumb, index, middle, ring, thumb, index, middle, index, middle, index, thumb. All of these different shapes are going on there, and you're having and your ukulele sounding really beautiful. And then now when you go to the strum along and you're going to do Somewhere Over the Rainbow, instead of doing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, you're going to be doing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, way up, way up high. Now you're all of a sudden you're in a different class of ukulele player, because you are doing exactly the same thing as everybody else, but instead of strumming, you are plucking, and that puts you into this rarefied air of fingerstyle. It'll make people think you know what you're doing, right? All right, so that's how we play that on an ukulele. So now switch to the baritone sheet music, and I apologize for messing this up earlier. Switch to the baritone sheet music. And baritone players, you're going to play the same exact skill set. The skill set doesn't change for you, but now we're in a different key. So ukulele players, you're going to be playing, your G chord is here. I mean, not there. It's going to be this shape, okay? Your D chord is this shape. Your C chord is that shape, okay? And D7 on a ukulele is just these two fingers. Well, you can just lift up your middle finger on a D chord. You can do that. Most of us just do index and middle, right? There's your D7. And then the only other one is E minor, and that's here. So ukulele players, it turns out, as the opposite of what I thought, you guys have a fairly challenging set of chords here. And if you can't look at a baritone piece of music and know what those chords are, you want to go look them up and write them in right next to there so that you know what they are when they come by. I usually make a list up at the top of the page. Oh, this is an E minor shape. This is a D7 shape. This is the D. This is the G. That way I can play along. In the beginning, I had to do that. After a while, you just know them and you don't have to. Baritone players, I'd like to play the exact same tablature as I just played with the ukulele players. The difference will be that it'll come out in a different key on your instrument, and then the ukulele players are going to back you up with the chords. Okay, so looking at the baritone sheet music from the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. Measure 6, 7, 8. Measure 13. Keep moving forward. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Back to plucking. Okay, finger got stuck on a bad fret there. So that's what we're looking at in terms of arpeggio playing. So tomorrow, of course, we'll play through both of those both ways. And the big takeaway here is we're just taking a chord and dividing it up into its strings. And then using each of those strings to create the neighborhood instead of playing them all at once, we're playing them all individually. Sounds very beautiful, very stepwise, very complex kind of playing. If you watch piano players, Liberace is the best guy example that I can give you. He's playing chords, but he's broken them all up and he's just right. And so they're just chords. It looks like he's really doing something, but he's just playing chords up and down, and it sounds like really, really beautiful. And once you are feeling comfortable with that on ukulele, your playing just goes up to this higher level, where a lot of times I'll work with people and I'll say, all right, you've got this nice big whole note there. On this song is a good example, measure 24. There's a whole note there. Well, typically if we're playing a song, we're going to fill that in with some arpeggio patterns after that, just to kind of help it keep the music moving along. And then sometimes that stuff's not written down on the paper. Sometimes you make it up as you go, and that improvising feeling feels really good when you do that. And when you improvise, you're using scales and you're using chords, and that's what you learned today. We don't spend a ton of time talking about improvising with scales or on ukulele because you're never going to get an opportunity to really do that. But with arpeggio patterns, you can really take a song you're working on and really take it up to that next level. And so, questions, comments, or concerns, that's what I got for you guys today. Next hour, we are continuing our preparation for our Monday night concert. And so I'd love for you guys to come and hang out with that. You can play melody, you can play chords, you can play tough uke if you're up for it. And you'll end up sounding really miraculous one way or the other when you're playing with everybody. And arranged by a musical genius. Who needs strums? That's my big joke around here. Is when I see that come, when I teach this class for the community, I always say, wouldn't they the best way of strumming a ukulele is to not strum at all? And you can tell the entire ukulele community kind of clenches because they're like, well, that's what we do on ukulele. And so yeah, it's the best way to strum is to not strum at all. That's my opinion on that. I've seen enough strumming on ukulele to know that it's not the best way to play the ukulele. And taking those, I will mention brief commercial announcement on the website. You can download my entire Jumping Flea Arpeggiator book. I think it's over on the teachers tab, but you can download the entire book along with all of the sound files for it. So you get 30 of these, and starting next month with the 1 o'clock class, I'm going to start putting them through that whole entire book because it's that good. It's that good. And I wrote it to teach myself how to play ukulele, and I know that it'll make you make you a better ukulele player too. So not everybody manages to get all the way through it, and we're going to fix that. We're going to get them to number 30, A sharp minor. That's hardly even a real key. So yeah. Let's see. Lynn says, I'm really enjoying this, learning chords and accompanying the baritone. Interesting, right? It's this business of accompanying another player. It's going to, again, put you into another category of ukulele player. Most of the time with ukulele, we get together as a group. We're having a good time. Have a beer and a plate of spaghetti, and we strum, right? And everybody's playing the exact same thing. Well, when you get to this level where you guys are working at, you want to start having different textures, and one person's playing one way and you're playing a different way, and it's coming together. It ends up sounding really cool. Janice says, difficult. We will need to watch this again. Great, though. Yeah, and again, guys, please know this first run at the Arpeggios can be like, that really doesn't seem like that's a thing. But we have 3 arpeggios that we'll work on in this class by the time we're done with all of the lessons in this workshop. So by the time we get to number 3, you're like, yeah, I get this. This when I first introduce it to you, believe me, I know I watched in classes over the years. Try to make it as simple as I can, but it is hard stuff. And so just be patient with yourself. Don't let yourself freak out. Well, if this isn't going well, we will get you going well. That's one thing I know works. Fingerstyle, question mark, chord melody, question mark. They're very similar. Chord melody is a bad name for playing chords and melody at the same time. On ukulele, we of course play them simultaneously. And that's what I call, because chord and melody gives you this notion that they're 2 separate things. They're not really 2 separate things. And so I call it tough uke because we're taking those and combining them simultaneously. So chord melody doesn't work. Fingerstyle has come to be something a little bit different. It's playing chord melody, tough uke, but then adding in a ton of arpeggios inside of that as well. And so that's what I call painful uke. But it's kind of a joke. Fingerstyle, basically in fingerstyle, you're going to be making a note of some sort every 8th note. You're just going to be just overloading the main melody with all this decoration. And so that's what's come to be known as fingerstyle. And then those words, of course, don't really mean anything. But that's what they've kind of sort of generally. If you go type in guitar fingerstyle, you'll see a guy playing a popular song usually, and the right hand is just going to town, putting in all kinds of extra stuff in there. And that's generally speaking, when we talk fingerstyle, that's what we're talking about. So yeah, it's an inexact word at best. Vic says, it's good. Arpeggio book is great. The Arpeggio book is beyond great. It's free, and it's the best one ever written. Little ego on that one there. But yeah, you definitely go check it out. Mary, welcome. Love the baritone. Yes. I do too. I think it's different and fun. And so, all right, guys, we got to get off on to the next hour's class. And we're starting with 5'2", Eyes of Blue. That's one other song you should know how to play. So come on over to that. I'll see you guys in a few minutes, or I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.